Welcome! It's the Live, Love, Laugh, and Let Go Out Loud. And I'm Lynn Serrano, and I'm super excited about today's guest because her name is Joya. She fits the name perfectly. She'll be right here with me right after this. Welcome, Joya, to my stage. Welcome. I'm so happy to have you here. We met in Clubhouse, so it's super, super nice to have you here. How are you?
I'm wonderful, and it's super nice to be here. I'm super honored that you asked me into your space. So thank you. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. I'm super excited to have you here. So, well, I'm going to, if you want to just to do a little introduction about yourself real quick, not too much because we're going to go into these questions, but just a little something.
Well, I live in Phoenix, Arizona, and I'm a sound healer. So that's my predominant job that I do is work with sound to help people use sound from the outside in and sound from the inside out with your own voice to help you heal everything that needs healing and be able to dismantle and let go of as you have let go out loud and let go of what's no longer serving you so you can step into the present moment and the flow of your expansion and creative life.
Oh, I love that, which I guess we'll go right into some questions here. How about that?
Okay.
So the live, love, laugh, my theory is that you can't do any of those things, live, love, laugh, without letting go out loud. And with sound, I'm sure you have no problems in the subject, but if you wouldn't mind sharing with us your vulnerability about the things that you've let go, and I'd really appreciate that.
Well, I love that you, as I'm reading it, and it says, what have you let go of out loud? And I love that because since I learned how to use my voice to let go of things, it literally is letting go of things out loud. And I grew up, well, now looking back from where I am, I look at my childhood as being a total training ground to be compassionate and resilient and super strong and have great boundaries and have great intuitive people skills, like all of those things that come on the other side of trauma from post-traumatic growth. But I think the biggest thing that I have let go of out loud is that little voice that I had that was not my own voice, that was always asking the wrong questions in my own brain it was always saying, who do you think you are? And not in a nice way, but like, who do you think you are? And now I answer that question whenever it pops up. I'm like, oh, I know who I am. So I answer the question a lot differently than I did before. So I've definitely let go of the nagging voice of the who do you think you are that wanted to keep me small and hidden and in a box, in a prison of my own making. So that's definitely the number one thing I've let go of.
I love that. And this, I want to show everybody what you do, let things go out loud. And I want to share this little clip real quick. I love that. I just love that. I just thought that's really awesome.
Oh,
So
thank you.
that's really great. And she goes, I have singing bowls. This is Debbie. I produce a show for her. She's just
Hey,
awesome.
Debbie.
Thank you, Debbie, for being here.
Everybody should
So
have a singing bowl.
what's that?
I said everybody should have a singing bowl, at least one. Yes.
I guess I'm gonna have to get one. I don't have one. But
I
I
surround
know
myself with
I
them.
I want to share this because this is really sweet. You got this cute little kitty cat, and you got
She's
this
so big now.
and you got this cute dog. Like this is super cute. And I know they love you, but then I love this little video. I just gotta show this. This is hysterical. Okay, that's super cute. That's cuteness overload. I couldn't help
Oh
but
my
do
God.
that.
They're BFFs. And I always say, I'm like, I wish the world got along like my dog and cat because they just love each other. They're total best friends.
Can I just say this is the first time I actually share somebody's animals on here? It's just I felt the love. I just felt like I had to share them. So, and my friend Jackie, who lives a little ways from me, she says she has them. She said she took a course, so that's really cool. I have
Awesome.
to, yeah,
Awesome.
that's awesome. So let's get back into some other questions here. Okay, so let's go to what makes you laugh, other than me, because I did that before we started.
Literally everything makes me laugh. I have a great sense of humor. I love irony. I love obvious humor. I love repetitive humor. So I would say my husband is hilarious. We make each other laugh every day. And I'm talking like hard belly laugh. Like almost every day we laugh hard about something. And my son, who is 16, and he and I have the exact same sense of humor. And so we make each other crack up all the time. And so like for instance, every day, and I've been doing this for years, I think I'm on my fourth year, I film a 1 second video every day of my life and I put it into this app. And so I asked my son to hold the camera. We were at a restaurant and I said, "Oh, I want this to be my 1 second video. Film us." And so he kept holding the camera up for a super ridiculously long time. And I was like, "Put it down." And he's like, "1 second video." And it was just funny. And I was just laughing so hard at his obvious humor that he has and this repetitive humor nature that he has. It just makes me laugh hard, but I love to laugh. And it's in the Native American traditions, the questions that they put to the sick, one of them is, have you laughed today? And laughing is such a great way to release all of the feel good neurochemicals and great hormones that flood our body that keep us healthy and youthful. And yeah, I love to laugh. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so then you better listen carefully to this one.
So have you ever gotten yourself in a pickle? What kind of pickle would you say you got yourself into? That you learned the most valuable lesson ever.
I hope you're sharing this out with your page because this is hilarious.
I will be for sure. I've gotten myself into quite a few pickles.
Yeah, so come on. This is where we get into the juice.
Have you ever been in a pickle? Yeah, I've definitely been in a pickle. I would say the worst pickles are pickles that I put myself in by lying about something and then being caught in the middle of a lie. And just that feeling is like, oh my God, the jig is up. Like I'm just like, I'm totally screwed right now, which is how I learned just to not lie, right? And or, so and here's a good pickle I got myself into, just being busy and absent-minded and running around too much and doing too much. I went to a restaurant, I ordered food and I went to go pay for my food and I had forgotten my wallet. And I was like mortified. I was like, oh my God, I don't have my wallet. I'm so embarrassed. And this woman behind me, who was in line behind me, said, "Oh, I'll get it for you. Don't worry." And I was like, are you kidding me? So that was really sweet. And she got me out of that particular pickle. So I do look for situations where I can help other people get out of a pickle.
I know, that's cute. I love that. I love that. And so I want to play this real quick right now.
Hey, Joya, it's Sandy Horton. I just wanted to say, I value you. I appreciate you. You're one of those true people who I met through Clubhouse who have this beautiful frequency. You raise the room just by your absolute amazing essence. I thank you so much for your friendship, for everything that you're doing, because you are transforming lives by going into the essence of who the person is and raising them up. So thank you for being you. I value you again. Take care, and I look forward to coming down to visit with you in the United States. Over and out from your beautiful Canadian friend. Take care, Joya. Thank you for everything.
Oh
Obviously, you never seen my show before.
my heart so happy. Thank you. Thank you, Sandra, if you see this. And thank you, Lynn, for your thoughts.
Oh, so anyways, I get all over the place. I just love what I do here.
Beautiful.
So what do you love in your life other than your family?
Everything about my life. I feel so blessed, bountifully blessed, because I've intentionally created my life the way that I want it to be. And Woo, boy, when I think about the dark place I used to be in to the place I'm in now, it's just, I'm surrounded by things I love in my own studio, in my own workspace. I have amazing girlfriends, which are, to me, it's like, I remember I didn't have a lot of girlfriends and I was like, I really, really want girlfriends. And now I've got an amazing, incredible group of girlfriends that I love so much, that I value and treasure. Every day, every day I'm in love with my life because it's just such a gift. And I've really cultivated this ability to stay um, present to whatever's happening and to really be in the moment of now. And my motto is actually stay in the day that you're in, and create and play and do what you want to do and manifest in that day. So, and I lost somebody that I love when I was very young, a couple of people actually. And I think that that really gave me that mindset of knowing that we never know when our time is up, and to really appreciate and be grateful for life every single day, no matter what's going on. And I always say, along with stay in the day that I'm in, I also always say this too shall pass. Whether it's something wonderful that's happening, I say this too shall pass as a reminder to be in deep gratitude and to really soak in the moments that are as they're happening. And when things are really crappy, this too shall pass. I know that it's going to end. I'll get through it. It's going to be gone. It's going to be done. And that gets me through when things are hard.
I love you say that. And yeah, my grandmother died when I was young. And then I had a classmate in ninth grade was killed in a car accident. And, and I think that's why I like eulogizing people on my show. I
Mm.
think what's sad is most people don't know the impact they have until they're gone. And they never knew. So, like, I really appreciated you in Clubhouse. And that's why I want to come here, is to honor you and to love you, because I just instantly love you. And so again, it's one of those things where it's just important to let people know how much you appreciate them and you care about them. And I think it does give you that sense of gratitude to know, because when somebody dies, what do you do at first? Like, oh my gosh, when's the last time I seen them? When's the last time I talked to him? What did I say? Did I say everything? And
Yeah.
so I try to tell people that that's really important. So I love that. I love that. So the next question I have for you is, can you recall a time in your life when you said, I'd never do, that you ended up doing? Because people need to understand, you got to stop doing that.
Oh my
it's
God.
it's your destiny when you
So
do
many,
that.
so many, so
so,
many.
so
I,
share.
I have this, I have this in positive experiences and in negative experiences. The one that comes to mind is when I was pregnant. So this was a long time ago when I was pregnant with my daughter. I saw this mom coming out of the grocery store and she had this toddler flung over her shoulder and the kid is screaming and throwing a fit. And the mom like opens the door to the car and like chucks the kid in the car and slams the door. And she's just like, ah! And I was like, I would never treat my child like that. I would never do something like that to my baby. Okay, fast forward.
Dun,
my,
dun, dun.
my child is 2.5 years old. We're at Walmart on a super busy day. And normally I would just let her walk because she was the kind of kid who wouldn't run off. She would stay by me. But I was, it was busy and I was worried that she's going to get whacked in the head by a cart. So I was like, you have.
Oops, did you freeze up on me? Did you freeze up or did I? I don't know. One of us froze up. Joya is probably frozen. She's frozen in time. And I'm sure she'll be right back. Oh boy. Yeah, I'm not sure what happened, but she's frozen. So I'll remove her from there for a second. This will be really interesting. Yeah, she froze. So hopefully she'll be unfrozen in a minute and come back. So it was just getting really good, her talking about what she would never do that she ended up doing. So I just hope she knows that she's frozen. So in the meantime, what I'm going to share is, oh, she left and she should be back in a minute. Yeah, frozen. Let it go. Let it go. Yeah, I'm gonna make Debbie Bettendorf make me a little track, and I'm gonna put that on my show. That's what I'm gonna do. But while she's gone really quick here. And by the way, her birthday was the other day. So when she comes back, let's all put happy birthday in the comments. Would be great, because I know she'll be right back. But she did go to Spain, and she she's such a joy. She is just so much fun. Her voice on Clubhouse, she always brings it. So I'm sure she'll be here any minute back. So, this is live show. This is comments. Yeah, that recalling. We'll ask her that question when she comes back. So what's this? Let me see what's Debbie saying here. Yeah, let it go in the flow. Absolutely. So yeah, hopefully when she comes back, she'll see some happy birthdays. Yeah, I'm sure it's probably just as bad for her to be like, oh no, oh there she is. Let it go. Let it go.
I went into the matrix. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, you did.
Oh
You
my gosh,
did.
sorry about that. Yeah, that's
Well,
weird.
don't be sorry, but let's go back to this quick little story you were talking about your never, because it was getting really good. You said that you never.
Where
Okay, so
was
go
I?
ahead. Yeah, you were saying that you were at the Walmart. You were at the store.
Okay, so this is where it gets really fun. So my kid throws herself on the floor and she starts kicking and screaming, and then she starts screaming and putting her hands up. She starts screaming, "Don't beat me! Don't beat me!" And I've never hit this child a day in my life. So I bent over and I said, "I'm gonna beat you if you don't knock off." And I picked her up and threw her over my shoulder, kicking and screaming. I open my car door, I throw her in the car door, I slam the door, and I'm like, ah! And this woman walks over to me, this very kind older lady, and she put her hand on me and she goes, "Children that age are so hard. I promise you it'll get easier." And I was like, oh my God, I totally just did the thing I said I would never do. Totally.
Yeah, I think like my daughter said to me when she was pregnant, she goes, "I'm not going to do like you did. I'm not going to yell at my kids." My beautiful grandson, he must have been 2, almost 3. Like, what's the matter?
Oh.
Now I see why you yell sometimes. I'm sorry, I judged.
Right. And and that's what I think that's where that there's been a lot of times in my life where things I said I would never do, I've done. And I always say that's what that quote in the Bible is about, not judging somebody else. Why are you judging the splinter in somebody else's eye when you have a plank in your eye? And as you judge others, you will be judged. I'm like, it's not because God's going to judge you. It's because those things are going to happen to you. The same judgment you cast upon someone else is going to happen to you. So you can see from a different angle and a different point of view that now you're the one in those shoes.
How does that, like Dr. Phil says, how's that working for you? How's that?
Exactly. And I always say, you know what? You never know what you'll do. I always say people who wind up shipwrecked or in catastrophic situations never in a million years think they're going to eat somebody until you're in a situation where that's your choice. So you never know what you're going to do until you're the person in the shoes having to confront a particular situation. Yeah,
exactly. I concur. Exactly. Oh, so let's see. So when you were leaving or when you were gone, you got the happy birthdays here because
thank you.
Yeah, because obviously you didn't go to your messenger. Joya, I want to wish you a happy birthday. I want to wish you a happy birthday. I want to wish you a happy birthday from the bottom of my heart. Say happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday. Oh I didn't even remember my granddaughter was there. I mean, so yeah. So there you go. So, and then my audience was saying happy birthday to you while we were waiting for you. So anyhow, so let's see here. What makes a person beautiful to you?
That's an interesting question. Because for me, I have a gift. And that gift is that I instantly always see the beauty and perfection that's in everybody. And it doesn't matter who the person is. I see it. I always see the light in every person that I meet. And so that's it can be, sometimes it's a flaw and a detriment, but I don't think so anymore. I used to think that, but now that's where you see the light, but you still have boundaries because they might not necessarily know they have a light or see their own light.
Yeah.
But I would say, I always see the beauty and perfection in everyone, no matter who it is, literally, no matter who it is, because I believe that God is in everything and in everyone, and even in the worst of humans who just don't know that it's there. But I think what makes a person beautiful to me is authenticity. I love witnessing precious moments between people who don't know that someone's watching them. So whether it's just like a simple, touching someone's hand under a table when I'm at a restaurant, and I see somebody reach over hand, or or airport hugs. I love greetings.
Oh my gosh, I do too. It's like
those moments where I just see those kinds of love or those kinds of so I guess it's the seeing the human connection
Yeah.
and kindnesses and love that people have for each other. I just find so beautiful and so precious. I just love it. I
Oh my
love it. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I love that because like I'm also the one that well it brings me back my own memories of when my brothers all served and they would always surprise us. But I love seeing the videos when the soldiers surprise their family. Oh my God, I love that.
True.
I watch that over a drama show any day of the
I
week. It's
always
like,
cry.
and then
Yeah.
I just good cry. It's like clearing those ducks out. And then I'm like, I'm not gonna cry. And I'm like, you know.
Same. And in fact, when I was at the airport and all of my traveling that I just did, coming off of a Southwest flight, apparently somebody proposed to somebody on the airplane. And so when they got off the plane, all of us who were waiting in the terminal, they announced it. They're like, oh, a couple got engaged on the flight debarking off the plane. And then when the couple got off the plane, they said, and here they are. And everybody in the terminal started applauding and cheering. And it was just like that
Oh,
kind
you
of
just
thing.
gave me chills with that. I know you just gave me chills. I know I'm mushy. When I see people are happy, I'm like, I'm really happy for you guys. I'm like, I just love it. And so speaking of your trip, we have a little bit of your little trip there.
Mm,
Oh,
yeah,
that was just awesome.
it was incredible.
In Spain, right?
Yeah, I went to Costa del Sol, Malaga, Spain, and then this particular um, these photos are
Wow.
from the retreat center that I was at, and I went to a sound healing retreat to learn about using voice, the power of voice on the meridian system, and learning how to sing what with Gita Ben David. I love her, and when I first read about her, I said I'm going to study with this woman, and
That's
so I got to go do it, and it was just
I
absolutely
was
amazing.
I won't forget when I was in the clubhouse when you shared that with us. And that was awesome. That yeah, we'll get probably to that question here in a minute.
Yeah.
But I was going to ask you, oh, what actually I don't want to ask you that yet. What's the first thing you notice about a person? I asked you what was beautiful about a person, but what's the first thing you notice?
Eyes. I always notice
Yeah.
eyes, and then the second thing is their smile. Whether or not they smile doesn't matter. And then I notice their eyes, and then it's kind of the essence. After that is the energy of the person. Yeah.
Awesome. I love that. Okay, so let's talk about what mistakes have you made along the way? I know we only got about 30 minutes, but
Oh, is that okay? Yeah. Oh my gosh. Well, I will tell you that I honestly can say that up until 10 years ago, mistakes were the way that I chose to learn in my life's path. I was a very stubborn, um, my mom would say the stove is hot and I'd go over and touch it just to see for myself. So that's always has been the way that I've learned. The
that's
hard
why
way.
I think that's why we were late. But anyways,
Yeah, making lots of mistakes and but I love the word mistake because I don't I don't look at it as the way that I used to as a failure. I look at mistakes now as the word it says mistake. So what have
yeah.
I mistaken? What have I mistook? And if I mistook something, that means that it can be corrected. I can course correct. And so now I know to learn from I always ask, okay, okay, source. Now I prefer to learn through ease and grace now. I don't have to learn by touching the stove. I can learn my lessons with ease and grace. So that definitely helps. But um, I've made a lot of mistakes. I mean, parenting mistakes, of course, my
Those
own
kids don't come with a manual, you know.
exactly, exactly. My own life mistakes, but then I also don't think that there are any mistakes because I think that everything works out. Everything weaves together to create who I am. So
Yeah.
if I look back and say, wow, if I wouldn't have made that mistake or that huge colossal F up in that relationship or this or that, I wouldn't be exactly where I am today. It would have changed. And so it's all just things that have been mistaken. And now I can learn with ease and grace. And it's also given me a lot of wisdom. So I equate with mistakes as when I drive, um, I don't know. I'll randomly be like, I'm going to go down this street just to see where it goes. I'm going to take a shortcut. And sometimes I get lost and sometimes I find great ways to go. So if it's a mistake, it's not because now I can be in a place and I'm like, "Oh, there's all this traffic, but I know a shortcut because I've already made this mistake and now I know where to go." So it's kind of I think that wisdom comes from mistakes.
Yeah, I hear you. And I got lots of wisdom. I'm 56. I just try to hide my wisdom, but boy, I hear you. I think we deserve that wisdom that just shows beams right out of us. But anyways,
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Well, and if you don't make any mistakes, you're not really
you're not growing.
you're not trying. You're not
Yeah.
growing.
Yeah.
You're not experimenting with failure, which I don't believe there's a such thing as
Yeah,
failure.
you don't grow when you're just staying, there. I mean, I'm sorry, but people don't understand. You can eat salad, you can do this, you can do that, but you're still going to die eventually. I mean, it's going to happen. I mean, things eventually happen, and like
Exactly.
all seasons and weather and all those other things. So what
Exactly.
are your big, hairy, audacious goals?
Ah, my beehives.
Can you explain that?
The BHAG, my
Could
big
be.
audacious goal, my BHAGs. I
I would try to say that as serious the
I
next
know,
show I
right?
do, and I'll be like, okay, Joya.
Wow. Well, you know what? My big, hairy, audacious goal is to build a amazing center for sound and spirituality. And I want this big space that's acoustically perfect, that has an acoustically perfect auditorium for people to come together and sound together, because I
Okay,
experienced this.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna take a Rex textbook thing here because I always have Rex really, really close by. But
Yes.
that's not a want because you'll never have it. It's you will.
I will. Yes,
Yes,
exactly. It's my
because
goal.
I got to
Yes.
correct you. It's
Yes.
it's I
Thank you.
will because you
Thank
said I
you.
want. No,
Oh, I
you
did.
will.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
No, I don't
change
want.
that.
My big, hairy, audacious goal is that I
Will.
will have this
Yes.
space. Yes, that to do sounding together
Now
and
watch, it's going to come expectedly faster now because
I'm
you're
so excited.
changing that around.
Thank you for that, Lynn. I
Yeah,
appreciate
you're
that. Yeah,
welcome.
more than happy.
Look, Bob Donnell even said happy
Thank
birthday.
you,
And Debbie
Bob.
said, welcome back. I
Thank you.
love Bob. Do you know Bob then?
I do not know Bob.
Oh, Bob Donnell is just an amazing. He's a behavior. Come on, I'm all tongue tied
Specialist?
here, but yeah, behaviorist. Yeah, and he's just an amazing. He's doing great work out there, so I really appreciate him. So okay, so what are your success habits?
My success habits are my daily routine, my morning routine, which I do not change. I didn't even change it when I was in Spain. So it's getting up in the morning. I make my coffee. I love my coffee. And I meditate. I chant every morning and I do some reading every morning. And then I usually go for a walk or do something for exercise. And then my biggest success habit, honestly, is showing up even when I don't feel like it. And that's the
Half the
biggest one.
battle.
Yeah, because sometimes I'll be, I'll make all these plans and I've got all these things and I've got this big to-do list and dates and meetings, and then I'll be like, oh, I don't feel like it. Well, so what? You're doing it. You're doing it anyway.
Do you notice that the times you don't feel like it is always the best times?
Yes, and that's
Because
what I don't understand. It's like
it's
the
like
ego is trying to stop you from growing.
right, but the thing is that's what happens when we have too many expectations.
Yeah,
Or don't at least say no, regardless, everything's going to happen for me, not to me, and it's going to
yes.
be better. But it is a human, that's a human condition that we just have to correct and fix and whatnot. But anyhow, what's the biggest factor that's helped you be successful?
Honestly, my husband.
Oh, I love that.
He's my biggest cheerleader. He's my biggest support. Bob makes me love this. He's 100% supportive. And in fact, when I was I was talking about going and getting a job back in corporate America, which is where I came from. He's like, no, you're not. You're going to focus on building your sound business. It's going to be, and he's like, this energy work that you're doing and these things that you're doing. It's like, I just know that they're the thing of the future. He's like, people might not get it now, but in a few years, everybody is going to want it. Everyone's going to know about it. So he's been definitely my number one cheerleader and champion. So even when things feel like they're just chugging along, he's like, just keep going, just keep going. So yeah.
He sees your vision. And Joya, you are such a joy in Clubhouse. If you ever get to follow her in Clubhouse, you hear her voice, she just cuts right through you to core. I mean, I just love you. I really do. And so so what's your favorite quote?
Oh my gosh, I have too many.
Well, come on, throw some out there.
I'm such a word person.
Me too, but I never quote the things right. So
my favorite quotes. Okay, so one of them I would have to be is I think Emerson said it, and it's what you do speak so loudly that I can't hear what you say. I think that is a great quote. The one I shared with you already before the show started from Pierre Desjardins, which is joy is an infallible sign of the presence of God, which I absolutely believe that the more you recognize the divine in you and in everything and in all other people, you become more lighthearted and joyful. And then, one by C.S. Lewis, which I always share with kids that I work with, which is, he said, isn't it funny how day by day, nothing changes, but when you look back, everything is different.
Oh, I love that one. I love that.
Yeah.
I don't recite quotes very well. Matter of fact, I felt bad the other day. I had Bob watching my show, and I'm like, Bob said something the other day. Can you please type it in there? Because I didn't want to misquote him. But it's just like when you love a good song, right? You know the song, you know the melody, but I'm bad about not knowing who sang it or giving credit to it. So I don't know why, but what book recommendations do you think have impacted your life?
Well, my favorite book that I read every single day, and I've read it 4 times through, and every time I read it, it's a different read, is The Way of Mastery. I read that book constantly. What else? What other books have been super impactful on my life? I'm an avid reader. I mean, I read a lot. I probably read 6 books a month. I really love to read.
That's awesome.
What book recommendations do you think have been impactful for your life? The Way of Mastery is the one that comes to mind because it's the one that I always go back to over and over again. What else?
J.C. Maxwell books, somebody said.
John Maxwell books are good. Yeah, I've read all of his books. They're very good. I love The Go-Giver. That book is coming to mind for some reason. And I've read that one a few times. The Go-Giver,
Cool.
which is about, the more you give, the more you receive, which is true. And I love The Go-Giver. All of Florence Scovel Shinn's books. So anything, the early 1900s, old school, new thought leaders, anything by any of them. So any of Neville Goddard's books, John Randolph Price, who was, I think, in the 70s and 80s. I love all of his books. Florence Scovel Shinn, all of her books. So yeah, anybody like those old school, back in the early 1900s, because nothing new is being invented. We're just already getting information. Like we're all catching up that the information that used to be on the fringe is now becoming the information that the masses are understanding and getting. And they're like, oh yeah, this totally makes sense.
Well, it's like, how many times do you have to see a commercial or see something to know that it's ingrained in you or be reminded? I mean, it's just like the Bible. You read the Bible and you hear the stories, but until it reflects or you see it from a different perspective or something comes up, it doesn't have any meaning to you till those things. And even Mayu, I'm messing up her name, Mayo, or I'm forgetting her name now. Forget it. Oh my gosh. D'Angelo, or what's her name? Yeah, Maya. Yeah, there you go.
Okay, yeah. I just recited one of her poems the other day when I was in Spain. That's funny.
Yeah, so anyways, but it was on the tip of my tongue, and that's what happens when you speak 2 languages. What's the best trip? And I laugh when I read this stuff because it's like, what's the best trip? And I'm like, traveling wise. Yeah, right. I did many shows, and then after a while, I look at that like, because Lynn's a trip.
What a long, strange trip it's been.
Girl, we're having too much fun here.
Oh my gosh. Traveling wise. Well, obviously the one I just got back from last week, which was my trip to Spain. And, traveling by myself, that's the first time I've ever traveled that far alone. Mm-hmm. And
isn't it so freeing though? It's freeing because
no schedule, no other people to have to be like, what do you want to do?
Yes.
Yeah, it was very nice. And then being at that retreat space for a week was just heavenly. And then every year my husband and I go to Mary Kay Baxter. I don't know who that is. I'll have to look that up. I'm making a note. Paul. Oh, gosh. My husband and I every year go to Telluride. and we go to the Blues and Brews Festival, but we also parlay it into an off-roading trip because we're Jeepers. And so we go and
Nice.
disappear into the wilderness. And
Love it.
every year I so look forward to that, unplugging and getting away.
So the next one would be, what's the most spontaneous thing you've ever done?
Oh my gosh, I'm a super spontaneous person. So I've done a lot of spontaneous things. Well, when I was in Spain, I jumped naked into a waterfall. So that was fun with
You go, girl.
all of the other Europeans. They're like, we don't wear clothes. I'm like, oh my gosh. So everyone just took everything off. Like there's no body shame culture.
Yeah, no inhibition there.
It's
I mean,
so
like, yeah.
different. It's so different. And so I was like, well, when in Spain. So
But they say if you don't have a picture, it never happens. So you're good.
I asked him to take a picture and I sent it to my husband and I was like, I just swam naked in a freezing cold waterfall. And he was like, oh my gosh, you got in cold water. That was what he said.
He didn't hear the other part. He heard what he wanted to hear.
The thing that he was not surprised about, it was the cold water, because I'm like, oh, the Pacific Ocean is way too cold. I can't swim in the water unless I'm in the Caribbean. I won't go in our pool unless it's 85, but yet I jumped into this freezing cold waterfall in Spain. So
because what they say, when in Rome or wherever you are, you're supposed to do what they do, right?
Yeah, but I love being spontaneous. I think I have a girlfriend who she and I are both super spontaneous. And so we do these fun days. We'll do a Sunday fun day, we call it, where I'll pick her up or she'll pick me up and we'll just plan like an end destination. So like, okay, our end goal is we're going to go and have lunch in Sedona. But in the meantime, as we're driving, we're like, oh, what's that roadside thing over there? Let's go check it out. Oh, let's go. What there? And we wind up in the most amazing places, doing the most fun things. And it's just it's a super spontaneous day with no plan. And it always just flows into these really magical, super fun experiences. So I enjoy that so much. I love spontaneity.
Thank you, because that's what people need to do. They need to lighten up and know that they should give themselves permission to just explore and do what whatever feels right to do. And I felt right to get naked with some strangers in a cold. And you're like, you know what? I'm never going to see that. Probably helped you. I'm never going to see these people again. So I'm good.
A lot of them were at the retreat with me. So, and they were just like jumping in. I'm like, all right, I'm jumping in. But I teach also expressive art is one of the modalities that I teach. And I think that that's all about spontaneity and trusting the process of what wants to flow through you, what wants to arrive on your paper, what wants to arrive on your canvas, and trusting that whole process, that whatever shows up is perfectly meant for you.
Well, and just look at this way.
I have her behind me, this one I've been working on.
Oh, wow. There you go.
It's huge. That's my body. I laid down and my friend traced it, and I've been working on the painting. So
that's awesome. I love that. And you know what they say? Well, shoot, just try it once. You don't know unless you try, right? I mean, that's the worst thing. Say, okay, I did that and I'm never going to do that again.
Exactly.
So anyways, okay. So what habit do you have now that you wish you started much earlier?
Hydration, drinking. And also,
bad about that.
Oh my God. She takes a drink of water. I love drinking water, and which is a good thing because I live in the desert. So hydration.
You have no choice. You are dehydrated by default.
I'm like, I go outside and I'm like, so I love drinking water. And also I would say consistently flossing my teeth. Like all the time, but it's like one of those things that if you don't do it every day, your whole life, that eventually you have problems. Meditation, another habit I wish I would have started much earlier, that I didn't start doing regularly until probably 8 years ago, meditating every single day without fail. Now I don't miss a day of meditating. I can't.
So let's see. Okay, if you could start all over again, what would you do differently?
Nothing.
There you go. I knew that answer, but what person? It's one of those trick questions, right? You got 90 questions. You're asking the same thing, just 3 different ways. It's like, you liar! You told me one.
You answered it differently on that question 5 questions ago.
Failed. I failed forward, though. Thank you very much.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
What personality trait has gotten you in the most trouble?
The personality trait that has also gotten me the farthest in life, and that is absolute fierce individuality. And yes, I love that. Not a damn thing, Ori.
Oh, you know Ori. I had him on the show. He's so sweet. You're gonna have to watch that video.
I will, for sure.
Hi, Ron.
My personality trait that's got me in the most trouble is definitely my fierce independence and my free thinking mind, that I've always had the don't tell me what to do kind of attitude. Um, but it also comes from my deep curiosity. That's like, I don't need you to tell me what to do. I want to, I don't need you to tell me about an apple. I want to taste the apple and see what it tastes like for myself. And that's also gotten me the farthest, though, because it never occurs to me that I can't do something. Like even traveling to Spain by myself, I can't tell you how many people were like, "Aren't you nervous? What about COVID? Aren't you afraid to travel there by yourself? What
We're
if
gonna all die. We're all gonna die anyways, right?
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. So I'm like, that's that fear, I guess it's kind of a fierce fearlessness, I would say, that's gotten me definitely in the most trouble, but also has taken me really far in life.
Well, we forget. You go on the highway and you do 80, 90 miles an hour, right? Or well, Montana, you do 90, but anywhere else you do 70. But I'm just saying, you take your risk in your own life all the time. And, gotta wake up and see. What kind of people do you most enjoy hanging out with?
Oh, people who are authentic. And so it's even, it doesn't even okay, so like I think of my 6 closest girlfriends and how vastly different we all are, in our interests, in what we do for a living, all totally different people. But the things we have in common are that we're all totally authentic. We're all super funny, and we're all intelligent. And so it's like we have really great conversations about things going on in the world, or these deep philosophical conversations, spiritual conversations. So, we don't talk about how's the weather or did you see these new shoes or whatever. So, yeah. But people who are deep, people who are intelligent, and people who are authentically who they are.
Well, then you need to come to our little show tonight as we see it, because you fit right in.
I would love to, and I'll have to join you on another Tuesday because I'm actually going axe throwing with my children at 4 o'clock.
Oh, I love it. Take a little video of that, because you never know what Lynn's going to use that for. But anyhow, so what's the funniest joke you've ever heard that you know by heart? See, it's that good she can't even say it.
Well, it's not an appropriate joke, so I won't tell that.
Hey, look, we're 42 minutes in. We got about 8 minutes left. Gosh. If somebody made it this far, then they deserve to hear it. If they didn't, then it's their loss.
Oh my gosh.
Come on.
Well, what's the funniest joke you know by heart? Let me think.
No pressure. This is a podcast too, so no pressure.
I know. I'm not going to share the one that I'm thinking of.
No. Oh, come on.
No.
That tells you should share that.
No, I'm definitely. And it's also a wrong joke. It's one of those jokes where
you know what? Come on. You can do better than that. Answer the question.
Oh my God, I love how you have all these things that you're just pulling up. You're like, I got this.
I try to be prepared.
No. I don't know. Okay, I have a funny joke that my husband made up. Okay, so this is my husband, who is funny AF. In my house, first of all, we're always making up jokes, and we always do yo mama jokes, yo mama so fat jokes, or so my husband said, yo mama's so fat, Costco only sells one of her.
Oh my gosh. That was good. That was good.
Funny. See it? It's funny. It's hilarious.
Yeah, it was really funny.
In my house, we're always making up jokes. It's like a thing that we do, and we have these joke offs. We did pizza jokes. We do cow jokes. I mean, we just let them fly in my house. We're dorks. Oh my dorky people who laugh about nothing. Yes.
I fit right in. So I'm gonna ask you, what tells you the most about a person?
Ooh, well, besides their energy, because I sense people's energies, their body language tells me a lot about a person. Just watching their mannerisms, besides their energy, which of course your body is energy. But when I watch somebody and they just are like rigid, or their shoulders are like this, or they sit like this, like it just tells me a lot about a person, their body language, for sure. Yeah,
absolutely. We're almost done here, but if a genie granted you 3 wishes right now, what would you wish for?
Ooh, I would wish for, Oh, well, obviously money would be, but that's number one, because then that grants all the other wishes. So I guess I would wish for a lot of money, a superfluous amount of cash, um, because that would answer all of the other wishes, actually. So
Okay, so I was going to say you don't need a genie. You're
yeah,
already able to do that because you're provided everything you need. So,
exactly.
anyways, it was a trick question of my 90 questions. I'm glad how I could turn that right around. Damn, I'm good.
Oh my gosh, like you don't need a genie. You are the genie. You are the genie
I'm
within.
busting the genie myth.
Exactly. You don't
Right
need.
here.
You are the genie. Yes.
That's right. Exactly. It's just like when people say, if money wasn't an issue, what would you want?
Yeah. Yeah.
Same question. It's just rephrased.
Yeah. Exactly.
Anyways, this has been so much fun being with you. I hope that you felt welcomed and and loved as much as I wanted you to feel loved, even though I was worried that you weren't going to show up for whatever reason. But
I did an RSVP because I've been in Spain and my brain's been elsewhere. It's like
it's okay. It all worked out. I knew it would turn out the way it's supposed to. But and I do have one question that I usually okay, let me see. If you could step in my shoes, what would you have asked yourself that I didn't?
Oh, I would say, would you like to play a bowl?
Yeah, you see, and I'd be thinking, I don't smoke marijuana.
I smoke a bowl. I said play a bowl.
I know, but I'm just saying, that's exactly what I'm saying.
That's hilarious. That goes back to the physical trip, Lynn. Are you sure? Are you sure?
I'm natural like this. No alcohol, no marijuana. I'm naturally just organically made like this.
I love it.
And I'm sticking to it. So, anyways, no, I just cracked myself up. Anyways, this has been so much fun. I love you dearly. And thank you so much for playing along. And you didn't know what you signed up for. And I love when people never watch my show and then they get on my show because they're like, I did not expect that. So
you told me, I said, okay, I'll watch some of your shows. And yes, Ron, I said bowl here.
Oh, wait. You said, there we go. Oh, I love that. Oh, wait. I'm going to make you big here. Hold on.
Can you hear her? Made a little binaural beat. Don't do the resonance of the bowl. You might shatter the bowl. You don't want to shatter the bowl.
That's, oh my gosh, you're so adorable. That is so cool. I'm so enlightened by this opportunity. I'll tell you what, I want to learn more about that. But I think it's just like your parent. My mom would make a tea and she'd always have a spoon in it. And it was a glass mug. And I go, why do you have that spoon in there? She goes, because if you don't, it'll break because of the hot. I'm like, I didn't believe her. So I had to try for myself.
That's hilarious. Those are like those beliefs that get passed on. That exact
thing, so, right? But she was right. You have to have a spoon in a glass in order for it not to crack. So yeah. And so he just said that was very cool. So again, that is super cool. You did that. And you guys go ahead and follow Joya. And
that's my Tibetan.
I was going to say, what was that? An answer? People thought the phone dial tone was gone, but I think she's just bringing it back to us. Somebody just hung up on me. She's hanging up on me on my own show.
You're so funny.
Oh my gosh.
I love my bulls. They're my children. I always call them, they're my kids who don't argue back. They just sing at me.
Oh, I love that. Healing sounds. Oh, I love it.
Healing sounds. Exactly.
Oh, yeah. I love it so much. Well, girl, you're going to need to come back again, and we're going to have to do some other kind of different little show and stuff. But thank you so much for being here. Don't go anywhere. Thank you, everyone, for watching, and thank you for wishing her a happy birthday. And I just I love you very much, and this has been super fun. So thank you so much.
Thanks,
love you. Have a great day, everybody.
Bye, everyone.